All right. All right. You ready to roll?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
All righty. We're back in the saddle with the No One Told Me Hockey podcast, but we have a new face on the other end. One of my good friends from my hometown, Chris Dodero, also known as Prodero Hockey on Instagram, a living legend. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Jack. Thanks for having me on here. I'm really excited to join this thing with you and get it going here.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Chris is now going to be my co-host of the podcast. Fletcher had some things. He's a little busy going on and stuff with school, hockey, and all that. So Chris is one of my good friends from home, and obviously with his social media growing daily, I figured he'd be a great guy to have on as a co-host. So here we are today. What have you been up to this summer?
Right now, I'm waiting for a professional contract. Most likely going to be going back overseas. But yeah, I've just been
Mhm.
skating and training and growing the Prodero brand over the
Yeah.
summer. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's pretty simple, but a lot of work going into it. And going to
Yeah.
touching on joining the podcast exactly. Honestly, it was something that I kind of have been thinking about doing, but having you have already started it and
Hmm.
getting some good following and some good traction and
Yeah.
exactly the stuff you're talking about, I think it was a no brainer for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I'm fired up because I remember we would talk like intermittently over the summer about like what you're doing, what I'm trying to do with line mates and stuff. And I think like it's a good match to have you on here with like hockey development and then kind of you're still playing right now professionally after college. So I think it's like a perfect match for the podcast.
No, exactly. Both can fill some roles in there,
Yeah.
just like a hockey
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, right. Everyone
But
plays a different role here.
yeah, no, exactly. I'm excited to get it going here, though.
Yeah. All right. So you're a new guy on the team here. Got to get everyone familiar with you. So let's take it all the way back. We'll skip like we'll go to like when you were we'll say entering high school. We'll go where were you playing? What were you doing at that time in high school? Wait,
High
let
school.
me hold on. I want to start this over. Um,
Yeah.
when we were growing up, because we went to the same middle school together, and then
Hmm.
high school, like, and then Chris moved away. Um, but when we were about 10 years old, I remember I skated with you for the first time. And I was like, no joke, there's not even an exaggeration. I was like, who in the hell is this kid? You're probably like the most skilled kid I've ever skated with in my life. I was mind blown.
I don't even remember that. 10 years old. Jeez, where would he have
I
been?
think it,
I
or
don't even think we
maybe
met
it was
yet.
like middle school. Maybe it was like middle school, like sixth grade. Like you came out for a goalie session, with the
Okay.
Bruins.
Uh yeah, I'm starting to remember. Yeah,
And
honestly,
I was
just
like, what the
yeah.
hell?
I've had a crazy ride of a career, that's for
Hmm.
sure. Honestly, that age though, I'm a Chicago kid, played AAA growing up my whole life here, played for
Yeah.
TI for a long time growing up. I played for Mission for a year. We had an absolute wagon on that team. I think like Schmaltz and Dvorak and Nylander were our first line. Like we're pretty
Yeah.
stacked, and like
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
every kid on that team was Division 1 and playing pro.
Yeah.
Um, Going to early high school, that was my last year. I played for CYA U16 there.
Hmm.
Um, after had a really good year. Had a really good year there. 16 years old or 15. The
15,
next
right?
year, going into my 16th year,
Hold on,
I
I
was
gotta
drafted.
stop you really quick. I gotta stop you. So
Uh,
at that, right? So like at that age, you were like your
mhm.
skill level was like high level beyond like most kids at that age. Where did you get that from? Like where do you think that came from?
Honestly, like I put a lot of hours in. I really pride myself on on being like kind of speedy and being
Hmm.
have good hands and seeing the ice and making
Yeah.
plays and stuff like that. But I put so much time into like practicing my stick handling and at
Where at? Like were you at
countless
home or
hours.
like on the ice?
Oh,
Were you doing it all
both
or just
at
anywhere?
home, whenever, because it was just something I love and I still love doing it. Like if I'm bored, I'll just like go in the garage and just mess around, and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Um, I feel like kids today do more of that stuff. I feel like with a lot of just the way everything's going nowadays, more
Yeah.
kids are like on their iPads all the time and just stuff like that.
Do you think
I
it's
mean,
almost too like it's like too structured with like their skill development, whereas like you were just like kind of in the garage or on the ice just being creative, or both?
Uh,
It could go
yes
either
and
way. It
yes,
could go either
and
way.
yes and no, exactly. Like you can go either way. Like the way skill development has gone nowadays, it's unbelievable. With
Mhm.
and you're seeing it right now. All the modern day players coming up, it's unbelievable. No
Yeah.
one's seen this type of skill level before.
Right.
Um, but yeah, like I think you have to have some of that. Like I think some of it has to come. A lot of it has to come like from the player and like have a
Yeah.
desire and a drive to like want it and like love it, really
Mhm.
loving the game and having fun with it. I thought that was a
Yeah.
big part of it. Like looking back to my minor years where I was very successful, like I didn't think of it like a
Yeah.
job. It was like that was like so much fun for me, you know?
Mhm.
Like a lot
Yeah.
of just so much fun. That's a big part of it.
Oh,
Can't lose that.
okay. So now, so now we go
Cannot lose.
from right. So you finished your first year.
My
Was it
youth
first year U16?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
played 1 year
U15.
U16. Yeah, U15 or whatever it was, and then after
Mhm.
that, I got drafted by the Chicago Steel, and ended up making the team that year as a 16-year-old. So I
Yeah.
ended up playing at home for the Steel there, and that was an
Yeah.
awesome experience, but definitely a big.
Was it like
Uh,
was it a big step up for you, or how do you remember that transition or no?
yeah, it was definitely a bigger step, especially from playing U16 AAA to now you're playing in the
Yeah.
USHL. It's so much faster. You're playing against men. There's fights every night.
Yeah.
At least when I
Especially
played in
back
the
then
league,
too. Yeah,
yeah.
especially back then.
Heavyweights. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Definitely a big adjustment.
Mhm.
But I thought I was able to adjust. Yeah, that was my first year there, and I had a pretty wild junior career, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to talk about that a little bit, but yeah, that
Yeah,
was my
yeah.
first jump. 16 years old, playing the USHL, Chicago
Uh-huh.
kid.
What do you think was like the like in terms of your skill and stuff, did you fit in the league, would you say?
Oh, for sure. I felt honestly, it's I'm not gonna name names and stuff, but honestly,
Yeah, no, you're good.
there's always types of shit in hockey where and everyone might think that too, or people will always might think that they should have got a better opportunity or something
Yeah.
some shit happened along the line of some
Yeah.
politics here or there. But yeah, I thought I was ready. And we were
Mhm.
talking about this last week, just like on the phone chatting. But
Yeah.
I remember when I was 15 years old, my mindset started to change. Like I was like, okay, I'm starting to get pretty good right now, and I see myself as a one of the top players in the country at that
Yeah,
level, at that
for sure.
age. And one big regret I had looking back on it is like I just wish I took more time with it and just started to look at the big picture more and just said right here, right now. Like I remember when I was 15 going into that USHL camp, like I was like, if I don't
Yeah.
make this team, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I don't
Career's over.
yeah,
Career's over.
exactly.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, that's how I felt, like, because
Yeah.
I see other players too that were, I thought were of the same caliber of me have already maybe they got tendered or, you know what I mean, but I
Yeah.
wasn't tendered, I just had to go make it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I did end up making it, so I guess I was on track there, but
Mhm.
still looking back at it, I'm like, even if I uh, didn't play that year, it could have even been better for me because I played that
Yeah.
year, um and it wasn't the best for my development because I was just thrown in right away. I was playing fourth
Yeah.
line with big with big guys that were not
Right,
overage
right.
guys, with
Yeah.
20-year-olds that weren't
Yeah.
completely different players than me.
Mhm.
Uh,
So you just touched on
you
that. Do you
know,
think you would have been better off staying back like a year and developing, or but
when
it's
I
kinda
look
hard to
at it,
turn down the USHL?
exactly, exactly. I mean, honestly, I think it's stupid for I'm not saying the name of coaches or anything, but like if you take a
Mhm.
16-year-old too, I think it's better to just keep him playing in a role that they're good at.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
rather than just being thrown into a fourth line. You get low minutes. You turn a puck over, you're out. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just one thing of advice for the younger kids nowadays. Like, there's no rush. You have so much time,
Mhm.
um,
Do
and I'm
do you
really
think
finding
that
that
like
out.
do you think like going there playing on the fourth line and stuff, did that like ruin your confidence at all in
Oh,
terms
for
of
sure.
like
That kind
your
hundred
abilities?
percent, 100%, 100%. It was just a completely different style for me. Rather, you look at
Mhm.
it, I go back and have another monster year in midget again, just like every other kid.
Yeah.
And then you come in the next year. more prepared, you're bigger, you're stronger, you're faster, you have, your confidence is obviously there,
Yeah.
and you're just more ready to step in. Um,
Yeah, I wonder too,
but yeah,
like if they
that's
would like
uh,
if you waited a year, do you think they would be like more obligated to put you on a higher line? But since you're only 16, they're like, we can stick him on the third and fourth line. He's got a lot of time.
exactly. I mean, I thought I was good enough at moments for sure to play sometimes,
Hmm.
but just with junior hockey, sometimes back
Yeah.
then especially, it's an older league. You're gonna play the older guys,
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's one regret I have about from back when I was 15, 16. I just should have looked at the big picture more instead of just thinking right here, right now. I need to do
Yeah.
this right here, right now.
Yeah.
Um,
It,
because
it
you have so much time. It doesn't matter. Like I ended my last year cutting it short a little bit. I went from the USHL at
mhm.
16 years old to my 20-year-old year. I was playing in the North American League.
Yeah.
Like that's a
Right.
crazy, a
Yeah.
crazy, crazy change. But
Yeah.
it's still working out.
Yeah.
This
What do
one,
you, okay.
again.
What do you, like as you what was your mentality going into that year, like as your last year going in, like playing in the null, like after all the like 4 years of playing USHL and BCHL to
Yeah,
going to that
it
last year in
was
the null?
it was really stressful, honestly, because
Was
I
it?
had a commitment. I had to commit when I was 16 to Colorado College,
Yeah.
and then they ended up changing coaching staffs a couple years later, and I'd bounced
Hmm.
around the USHL a little bit. I was not loving hockey at that
Yeah.
moment for sure. Struggling a little bit, and I got decommitted from Colorado College. They had a new coaching staff, and then
Yeah.
I found myself as at 20 years old without a commitment going into your last year junior. It's not
The worst,
the
dude.
easiest
It's the
thing
worst
mentally.
feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
exactly. You had some of that too.
yeah.
We were
Yeah.
playing
It's not a
against
good
each other that
feeling.
year, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, we were.
Yeah, yeah. Good old Springy.
Yeah, dude, that was like your team, that Janesville team was probably one of the best null teams ever
Yeah,
assembled. That was so
I'll
crazy.
say. Yeah, I'll say that though. That was a very fun year. Just going and being part of a good team and contributing to winning hockey was a
Yeah.
really fun year for us. But going into that year,
Now,
like I was saying, it
oh,
was
go ahead.
yeah, yeah. I was saying like it was really stressful going in without a commitment. I will say one thing though. When I look back in my career, is like every time like when something was like on the line and I needed to step up, I did.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm just thinking less. I was just thinking less and just trusting myself more, and not
Yeah.
because there's no time to think about making a turnover, making a mistake. You just got to go do it and trust
Yeah.
yourself and really just kind of play free. If that
Hmm.
makes some sense.
Did
Playing
you
free.
did you have more confidence going into that year, just knowing that like you had played in the USHL, BCHL, and then you're going to a good null team too, so you were going to get good opportunities.
No, for sure. I definitely had confidence. I was, like I said, it was a little uneasy on the mind knowing I didn't have a commitment, but I definitely had the confidence and knew I could to knew I could do it and earn that commitment.
Yeah.
And eventually I did and ended up committing to
Hmm.
AIC there and had some good years there too.
Yeah, so let's get into that. So I want to talk to you about this because it's pretty crazy. Like obviously we talked about this the other day though, like how I think maybe the class before you guys kind of set the was it the class before you guys that set the tone
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
forward?
Exactly. When you look at AIC before, like I actually didn't
Hmm.
even know who they were.
Yeah,
When
no,
I
I
was in
know it's
Janesville my
crazy.
last year, I didn't even
Yeah.
know who they were.
Hmm.
But I really trusted the coaching staff there, Eric Lang,
Hmm.
Steve Weidler, Mike Towns. I talked to all of them. I just had a feeling in my gut. I thought it was the right fit for me and
Yeah.
what they were building there. And they had a freshman class that year who did very well. I think they
Hmm.
led the country in scoring by a freshman class, something like that.
Oh wow.
So I liked what the future looked like for AIC there.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't there yet. Like
Now,
they still were not good.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like going from like juniors and playing those years in juniors, then going into college, did you feel like a different pressure or was it kind of relieving because you knew you couldn't get cut, traded, you know what I mean?
Honestly, it's like it honestly restarted over again. I felt that same pressure again. Like
Yeah.
I finally got my confidence back. Um,
Hmm.
got my confidence back in my last year junior, committed there, went into AIC. Honestly, I remember my whole preseason, I felt like the first 3 weeks I felt so good. Like I remember too. Like I was so confident. I felt like I was like yeah, I think I could really contribute at this level. Um,
Hmm.
and then after like a month of preseason, like we didn't play any games, but just a lot of practicing and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still I didn't get the opportunity the first game of the
Hmm.
season. So like I remember I think I was still scratched the first game of the season, even though I had a
Yeah.
really good kind of preseason, and I was like, I really think I could play. Like I got scratched right away, and then I was just right away, you're gripping your stick extra hard. I can't make
Oh
this
yeah.
turnover. You
Oh yeah.
can't the and exactly. It's you can't play like that. Personally, I can't
Hmm.
play like that.
No, I can't
Um,
either.
yeah, there's no way. I don't think anyone can. It's just
Yeah.
it's so frustrating mentally. It weighs a lot on you mentally. Um,
Hmm.
sometimes you
Did
just
you
gotta
ever get
say,
that
"Fuck it."
confidence? Did yeah, yes, for real though. You do have, it comes to a
You
point
have
where it's
to.
like you're in such a deep hole where it's like you
Yeah,
have to say like let go of everything and like just fuck it and just restart, reset and
yeah.
yeah, it comes to a
And
point where yeah, it's you're in such a
I'll
deep
say
hole.
exactly that. I'll say exactly that. That happened with me again, like going into
Mhm.
my last year. So we had a great run there. We won when I was there. We won four
Yeah.
championships. I'll rewind it though a little
Mhm.
bit here. So, like I said, I
Yeah.
wasn't playing a lot freshman year. Then after I went home, like I don't care. I just want to freaking play. I just want to play so bad. So I'm gonna work my bag off. So that's what I did first. I
Mhm.
started there. I started just I took my training a lot differently. Not as much on the ice. I'll talk about that later. But first I attacked
Yeah.
off the ice because I was like, I need to
Okay.
show these guys I can fly, I can move. Like I want to be the best in shape guy when I go back to school.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I remember I had such a great off season off the ice, and I was doing so much speed training, like ton of speed training. Um, that my older brother actually helped me kind of develop that program. But I was
Yeah.
doing a ton of the speed training. I went back. I remember first day of camp at school, we did a 60-second drill, and I was like, "Oh shit!" You know
Yeah.
how everyone gets kind of
Yeah. Yeah,
shitting your
yeah.
pants a little bit on the line
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I just put
Brutal.
my head down and just fucking went as hard as I could. I didn't even look around, and I got back, and there was still no one. The next closest guy I think was like at the red line or something. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Oh, wow.
So that
Yeah.
honestly, that gave me a bit of confidence right there for sure. Um,
Yeah.
definitely that. And from there, I just kind of just showed coach like, hey, I'm gonna fucking work my bag off for you. Just put
Mhm.
me in the lineup. Uh, and
Yeah.
honestly, to start that year, I was scratched the first 7 games of the season. First seven
No
games, I was still
way.
scratched. Yeah,
No.
still scratched for 7 games, and then I was just like,
Holy
I
shit.
can't believe what's going on. Um,
Yeah.
and then I remember we got pumped by Canisius on the road, like 7-rip. They were a good team too. And
Yeah.
then I remember Langer came up to me after the game, like, "Stay patient. I know you're frustrated. I know." And I was just like, "Fuck." I remember I was like gonna explode. And then he put me in the next game.
Yeah.
I think I had 1 or 2 points, and then and I played a really good game, just worked my bag off. And I was playing a lot more relaxed and just like exactly, you gotta say fuck it. Um,
Yeah. Right.
and yeah, I had a great game, and that was it. I never got scratched my whole entire career. The rest from there on,
No
from
way.
I was
Actually,
in
that's
that game, and that
crazy,
was it.
actually. Yeah.
And then
Wow.
that year we won our first championship in Atlantic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and then the next year
Wait,
we
wait,
still
wait,
had
I
a
gotta
good
cut you
team.
off.
Go
Hold
ahead.
on. So that freshman year and then the start of the sophomore year, you weren't playing, were you
Mhm,
having, like, open conversations with your coach, or how did that go? Because it can be sometimes the relationships can get really kinda strained between
mhm.
players and coaches if there's not a communication
I mean,
aspect between them.
y yeah, a little bit for sure. I mean, I know Langer always liked me for sure. I just
Mhm.
never had that opportunity yet, and, like, yeah, we did have some open conversation for sure. I remember I went, I was like, "Hey, I'm ready to fricking go here." He's like,
Yeah.
I know, I just had to stay patient, I guess, and wait." I wish it
Yeah.
came a little earlier, but, I mean, it all played out
Yeah, it's tough on a college
pretty
roster
well for
too
me
when
and
there's
our
30
organization.
guys. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
especially at AIC too. That's kinda how they recruit. They don't like recruit and like slotting guys in. It's just they get everyone there and kind of like
Yeah.
anyone can kind of play there. It's different from a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
school where you kind of have walk-ons and those guys might
Mhm.
never ever see a game, but anyone can play
Right.
kind of there. That's kind
Right.
of how we built the culture and the program there. But
I mean, that's
going
good
in,
though. That's
go
good
ahead.
to have.
Yeah,
I said that's
no,
good to
for
have.
sure. Yeah, 100%. But kind of, I know it's kind of taken long talking about my college career, but
No, you're good. You're
so my
good. We're not in a
first,
rush.
yeah,
No rush. No
yeah,
rush.
sophomore year was good. Got in there. We won a championship, and then junior year, I kind of had that same role again, third, fourth line energy guy, chip in some points, chip in some, produce
Yeah.
offensively here and there, but like no power play. But I did help on the
So
PK a lot, so that's like how I got in. Was like I remember too. I told my coach, I'm like, put me on the freaking PK. If I'm not playing power play, I'll do it. Like I don't care.
yeah.
And I think I went that
Yeah.
whole year, my junior year, I didn't get scored on once the whole entire year, 100%.
No way. No way.
Insane, yeah. Yeah, and I was never a PK
Holy
guy before.
shit.
I was like, "Just put me in, I don't fucking care. I'll do it. Let's go."
You didn't
But,
get scored on the PK either?
no. No, not once the whole year.
Holy
Different the
shit,
next
that's
couple of years,
crazy.
but
Yeah.
no, but it
Yeah,
was
that's all
it
right.
was good. But that's honestly where I started, though. Even though I still felt like I still think I could be a top 6 guy.
Mhm.
Like, how we were built too, we had such a good older class too, and those guys are already there. It's really hard to take that away from those guys too, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but so then after a junior year, we graduated like 10 seniors, a big class, and it's like, holy shit, are they going to be able
That's
to
huge.
still compete, And like that was like
Yeah.
our top 4D and our top 6, like a lot of
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah,
like some
that's
big
crazy.
pieces
That's a
there,
big loss.
you know.
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
that was now going into my senior year, it was like, okay, it's kind of on me now, you know. When I went
Yeah.
back to say when I was talking about like when you just put it on yourself and just say fuck it, let go, like and just go, kind
Yeah.
of play free. That's kind of how that went. And I remember too
Mhm.
going into that last year, my coach, I remember first day of power play or first day special teams, my assistant coach comes up to me and says, "Hey Dozy, you're not gonna be in the power play. You're a great kill guy. That's what you do." And I was like, "No fucking way." I literally told him, I said, "No way. I guarantee you I could be the fucking best player on this team on the
Yeah.
fucking power play. Put me there." I literally told him, I said, "No." I didn't take it for an answer. I could be fucking
Yeah.
one of the best guys, especially down low and like grinding and doing
Yeah.
all the
Oh,
little
yeah.
nifty shit, you know.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I remember I was so fucking pissed that day, and then I went to the rink and I was on the power play, and I was
No
on it.
way.
Yeah, and I went and I was on, and then yeah, we had a great year that year. Was Then I started that year exactly. I played free and then just kind of trusted myself and just said screw it, not worrying about turning pucks over. I'm just gonna play. My senior year, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
leave it all on the ice. And
Mhm.
ended up having a
That
good
was
season
COVID
there.
though, right?
Produced.
That was
Yeah, that was
COVID?
the COVID year. Yep. Yeah,
Right.
it is.
S
But
So did you
anyways,
guys
yeah.
win that year? Did you guys win
Yeah,
that year too?
so the junior year we won the regular season, and then going into playoffs, like we had a really good team that junior year. Then
Mhm.
COVID happened, and then fucking that was it for
Oh,
that season.
so your
Didn't get to
end of your
play.
junior year, yeah, your end of
Yeah.
your junior year, you couldn't finish
Yeah.
out the season. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, that's right.
my senior year I was yeah, we that was our COVID kind of season, no fans allowed,
Yeah,
all that. And then
right, right.
we won it again that year, yep. Then we won it again,
Yeah, okay.
regular season and postseason too. Yeah.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. And then you took a 5th year, right?
Yeah, and then I took a 5th year again, then honestly I
So
just
I
kept
wanna
building on
ask
my
you,
game. Yeah.
I wanna ask you, were you debating taking a 5th year or not taking a 5th year? How did that work for you?
No, I kinda wanted to because I only had 1 year to play like how I wanted to play, really. It was my senior year.
Oh,
Like, that
gotcha.
was my
Yeah,
only year I got to play power play in a top 2 line role, and
yeah,
so I was like, "No, I wanna go back, and see if I can better my pro opportunity." And I did. I went
yeah.
back, had another good year. We won it again for the 4th year there. We had a
Mhm.
really good team that season, a lot of good players, really deep team.
So
Um,
was that your and you were an assistant captain that year, right? Is that
yeah,
right?
the senior year and my and
Oh, okay.
just the
So
senior year.
you were it for 2 years. What do you
Yep.
think what do you think you learned most from being in a leadership role like that? Because it can be tough at times for sure.
Honestly, you definitely, you mature a bit more. for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I was just trying to lead by example. That's what I was trying to do. Lead by
Mm-hmm.
example, show guys how to work. That's when the Prodero brand started. My
We'll
my
get into
senior
that.
year
We'll get
there.
into that.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, it was before
it's kind of
senior year, wasn't it? Wasn't it before senior
it
year?
was when COVID happened. That's when I started it.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? I thought it was like the year
yeah.
before that.
Well, I started doing like the drills and stuff, and I would be coaching kids, but I didn't ever never
Yeah.
started the Instagram page until COVID. That's when I started the Instagram page when everyone was
Do you
inside,
remember?
locked up in
Well, we'll
COVID.
get. Yeah.
You helped me do
That's
that.
funny. Yeah, I know. I know.
You
We'll get
are.
into that after we
You
go
did.
through this. After your
Hmm.
background, but yeah, how Prodero started
So
because
my
it's
career.
pretty cool. But yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Um.
had your fifth year, and how did
Yeah.
that play out?
Honestly, just like we thought, it was another really good year. We had another great team. Won the regular season. And then won the postseason again there. In the
Yeah.
Atlantic. It was awesome though. Had a really
Hmm.
really deep team. Everyone was bought in. That was just the culture we created there at AIC. That was the best part honestly about playing there. Like we did like if you look at it, like we should be dead last in the nation of if you look at our campus, our facilities, everything. It's definitely
Right.
ranked dead
Right.
last. But
Yeah.
we were able to just get a bunch of guys that cared and create a good culture, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
For
a really
sure.
good coaching staff, really good coaching staff.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of how the AIC career went. And
What do you think?
yeah, I don't
What do you think the biggest difference was between juniors and college?
just bigger, faster, stronger, more. It's just another step. Bigger, faster,
Hmm.
stronger, more detailed for sure. Way more detailed. That's when
Yeah.
you start learning.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to have great stick detail. I gotta know how to take care of pucks at the right times.
Hmm.
A lot of that stuff,
Did
a lot
you
of the details. That's when you really start going
did
details.
did you find that like the culture and stuff was better in college
Oh,
too with
not even
like the
close.
boys
So
and
much
stuff?
better.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so much better. So much better. Everyone's there for
Yeah.
4 years. You got the same teammates, 4 or 5 years. Everyone's got
Hmm.
a common goal. No, you don't got to worry about getting traded, cut, all that stuff. You're there.
Yeah.
You're with the same boys every day. Yeah, it was great.
Class, all that.
It
Yeah.
was amazing. Exactly. So much
I
better.
totally
So much
agree.
more team culture, team spirit. Like
Hmm.
even if guys are scratched, they still want the team to win. Everyone's still pumped if
Yeah.
you win. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I was like that too, and that was honestly one of the reasons my coach like kept me around and
Mm.
gave me a chance too, because like he could have got rid of me after my freshman year. I only played 10 games
Yeah.
or something that year.
Right.
Um, but he knows I was just trying to be a good soldier, be a good teammate, be good
Yeah.
with all the boys, don't miss any team
Hmm.
parties.
Yeah.
you know,
For real though.
don't
Yeah,
miss any team
definitely.
parties, boys out there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right. You got to show up and
exactly.
be present at
Can't.
those. Yeah,
You
for
got to be
sure.
part of the team.
Oh, you can.
Wherever the team goes, you
Yeah.
go. Be a good
Plus,
guy.
plus it
Cheer. Who
makes
cares if?
it.
Yeah. Why be miserable? Right?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
miserable? Why make your life? I've seen a few guys there. Though those guys didn't last. Some guys got there, they didn't play, and then I'm leaving.
Hmm.
Screw this, or we just cut them. You know. But if you're
Yeah.
there, you're part
Right.
of the team. You're excited when the team wins, even if you're not playing. Like that goes a long way
Yeah.
too. You know.
Oh,
So
100%.
I know
100%.
we like that. I know we like that part about it. Um, but yeah,
And it
100%
is
way
really
better than
hard. Like,
junior.
oh, fucking brutal, dude. Juniors, like, if someone scores, like, if you're in your position, you're like, what the fuck?
I know it's different. It's completely different. I know there's definitely guys
Yeah.
like that out there.
Oh, yeah.
It's the team
Yeah.
culture and all that. It's not even close to the same. You see a lot of guys
Hmm.
that are more selfish in junior and it's all about me and
Yeah.
all that, but that doesn't really fly in college, you know.
No, no.
And
I
now
think
it
that I honestly think
going,
that's the best
yeah.
part of college.
Oh, exact. That is. It's the best part about it for sure. The culture you build and you're there with
Yeah.
everyone. 100%.
Hmm. Yeah.
100%. Then I saw
Okay.
kind of the
So
junior stuff. Yeah.
what's that?
I was saying the same shit with pro now. It's kind of reminding me of juniors
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Guys are just,
Fair. Right.
it's for a paycheck. Yeah, exactly.
So
But
so now you finished out your fifth year at AIC. You had some
mm,
pretty good success for yourself and the team. So now what was your decision? Because I think like once you get out of that, like there's kind of a set road for once you go like AAA, juniors, college, like that's pretty set, like kind of standard, like stepping stones. But then once you get outside of college, it's kind of like a free for all on where you're going. So
Yeah,
many leagues, US, European,
exactly.
like, decisions. So what for you, like how did that process go for you going from college to professional?
Yeah, it was. I'm still dealing with it right now, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
you're in the
last
thick of
year
it right now.
I was fortunate enough to get a good offer in a good hockey league over in Austria. It's called the USHL. I played.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got the offer in June, early June last year. And I honestly didn't expect to get it because usually, especially for that league, they like more veteran players.
Yeah.
But I guess the coach saw something he liked in me, some of that energy that I can bring, and yeah, I got an offer, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I'm taking this. It was yeah, it was kind of a no brainer. Otherwise, I would have. There's a lot of good East Coast options here. Um,
Mhm.
I would have liked to try and get a 2A last year and like a 2A AHL East Coast deal. But
Yeah.
nothing had come at that time, and I had that offer in Europe, and uh, yeah, I thought it was a good, really good fit for me for my first year, especially.
Were Were you considering other European offers as well, or was it pretty much that one kind of fell in your lap and you kind of went with
That
it?
yeah, that one fell in my lap, and I grabbed it right away. Coach talked to
Okay.
me, and I exactly, the coach called me and I liked what he said. Like he really wanted me to come, and that's honestly going back some advice honestly for other younger players too. Like it's better
Yeah.
not to force yourself into a team um just
Yeah.
because it's they're better this, it's better that, and they got better facilities. My buddy's going there, but
Mhm.
what are their plans with you? You know, I could go that you can
Mhm.
go there maybe, but are you going to be the top, one of the top guys, or you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just and honestly, every time I've done that in my life, it paid off every time. Every time I went to where there was a coach that really wanted to get me. My U16
Yeah.
year, I went to COA because Chicago Young Americans are not a team anymore. But the head
Yeah.
coach there, he really, really wanted me to come play there. And I was on a stacked mission team, with a lot of really good players.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And I wasn't getting the first line minutes there. And that's what I really, when you're young, that's like what you need to develop is
For sure.
a lot of the playing time. You need people to
Mhm.
believe in you and have that playing time. Like, and when you know the coaching staff and those people believe in you, that makes it way easier. So, like when I look back,
I,
COA, yeah, I,
I was gonna say I feel like in terms of like I was trying to think and talk at the same time, but I feel like in terms of like what you're saying, like if a coach wants you, one, it kind of
hmm
takes that pressure off of you for like, does this coach like me? Does he not? There's like it gets kind of rid of that uncertainty because that plays a big role in like kids development and then like where their mental like where their heads at, like if you don't know if a coach like wants you or likes you and stuff, that is like
yeah,
90% of the game right there, is like feeling
it is,
like you're in
yeah.
a good like stable spot.
It's so much mental. It's 90-95%.
Yeah.
You could do all the
Right.
all the work, all the Prodero hockey. You know, you need to do that stuff. That's a must. You
Yeah.
have to do that stuff. You can't skip all that. But when you get into a game, it's 95%. It's almost all mental.
Yeah.
What's your mindset?
Yeah.
Like I can look back to all my best games in where college pro this year. I know which games I was on. Like I was having a really good game, and I know what my mindset
Right.
was like. Going into it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in the game too. You're not thinking. You're just doing.
Hmm.
You know, you're not
Right.
scared to
I
make a mistake. You want it. You want to make the play instead of just trying to
Yeah.
be out there and wait for something to happen. Like it's you. You're
Yeah.
dictating it. You know.
Yeah. Hmm. And
Um.
I think it's not even like a game to like it's not even game to game. It's just like it goes in like waves of like weeks or months of like your confidence, and when you have it, when you don't have it, and if you don't have it, it's like the worst time of your life, and if you have it, it's like butter. It's just like it's so
It's night
nice.
and day, dude. It's night and
Yeah.
day. Night and day. 100%.
Yeah.
That's the that's a
Agree.
big part of the game. But yeah, going
Hmm.
back to what I was saying before, um, every time I've went in my career with a coach that was like really trying to get me and I need you here, it's worked out
Yeah.
every time for me. Like, I look back at my CYA, that he was like, "Oh, you come here, you'll play the whole freaking game, like you'll." And I went there and I had a monster season, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, going to AIC, I know it didn't work right away, but it really worked in the end.
Hmm.
And then again with my first team, with my first year pro there last year, I just liked how the coach was talking, how what his plans were with me. Where do you want to be in the power play? What do you
Right.
want to do
Right.
here? I
Right.
want you doing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It definitely helps a lot more mentally
So
and
take me like, so when you first sign your contract and stuff and like you're planning to move out there, what is like when you move out there, what's your setup like? How you getting around? Where you living? What are you eating?
no, it was
Give me the rundown.
it was great though. It was great. Yeah, Ljubljana, Slovenia. It's a beautiful, beautiful city in Slovenia. If you guys don't know the country, but it's in the Austrian league. It's called the ISHL.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that. But I think there's like nine Austrian teams, one team in Slovenia, three teams in
Okay.
Italy, and then one team in
Hmm.
Hungary. But yeah, it was
Okay.
great. You have basically, if you're an import and you go to Europe, like everywhere you go. Um, so yeah, I had my own apartment, my own car. It was nice though, because all the imports, there was six of us. It was just like this one. It was like an old house. It was pretty big. It was an old house, but they just renovated. Like they destroyed all the guts and made it into six individual apartments.
Oh, that's
So it
nice.
was it was great. Yeah. So me and some of the guys, we hung out pretty much every day, or if we want to, you know
Hmm.
what I mean. So that was awesome. And then we had our own car. The rink was like 10 minutes away, right downtown Ljubljana, Slovenia.
Yeah.
Um, and it was great too because all the imports we all got free lunch every day at a really nice restaurant downtown. So we'd go
That's unreal.
wake up in the morning, get to the rink by like 8:30, have workout 9 a.m. something like that. Then we're on the ice 10:30 on the ice, practice 30 minutes to an hour depending what when
Yeah.
the games are. And
Yep.
then after that, imports, we just go right over to our lunch spot downtown, grab lunch, and then after that, you have the rest of the day. That's when I typically start. I take that time to either, if depending how I'm feeling, I'll either take like a nap, rest, recover, go to like grocery store, load up on some stuff like that, and then
Yeah. Yep.
put time into my business as well, the Prodero Hockey,
Okay.
and then I also do a lot of
Yep.
video analysis stuff too. So that's when I would take care of some of that stuff
Right.
after practice. But yeah, it was nice. It was
Um,
awesome for my first year pro.
yeah. What do you think like the biggest difference for you was between college and pro?
Again with the culture, like completely, yeah, completely. I couldn't believe it at points when I was playing
Yeah.
last year. I like, and just going from AIC where it was like so dialed, like such a it was run, almost military, like you know what I mean, with
Yeah. Yeah.
how Coach Lang ran things. Like you got to be really dialed in. You have to be fully committed. You have to be, you show respect to the coach. I never
Yeah.
saw
I know.
anyone snap back at. I remember my first day there. One of the older guys, I was just getting like I was late because the coach bagged me on some running test while all the guys are like getting ready because it was my first day. And then I remember they were going out for goalie training, for goalie practice, and then they always have a couple players going out. And the head coach comes in, he's like, "Hey, what the hell? You guys are supposed to be on the ice." And it was like one of the older guys, like, "Oh, fucking relax." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Where am I?" I'm like, if I said that to my coach in college, I'd be gone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just
For
like
sure.
it's completely different over there. Um,
Hmm.
but it's nice. It's definitely a lot more relaxed, a lot more relaxed. You go on the road, you just grab a couple beers after a game on the bus, relax.
Yeah.
Can't be really
Right.
drinking beers in college after games on
Yeah.
the bus.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely, there's ups and downs, there's benefits,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, there's definitely some differences.
All right, let's get into this right now. So, how let's talk about Prodero Hockey. For those of you who don't know, he's wearing the hat right now if you're on YouTube, but he has a company
Okay,
called
can't really see it.
Yeah, you can. So he's got a company called Prodero Hockey, and it mainly first started off. Well, you were doing like privates and stuff, skills, right? And then it kind of transformed
So
into
I'll
something
back.
else.
Yeah. So because I just if you ask any of my buddies that know me, like hockey players especially, like Dodes loves hockey. He's all in on hockey. He's
Yeah,
because I don't honestly watch many other sports. Like I used to follow baseball a little bit football, but like I honestly don't. I don't follow many
yeah,
other sports like your average, American boy would do.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just have been all in on hockey, and I've kind of always thought in the back of my mind, like I think I really want to be a skills coach or a coach when I'm done playing.
Hmm.
And I've done it before too, because I would help people, the coaches around here. I would help with hockey camps all the time, and
Yeah.
so I'd be doing that all the time. And I'm like, I could do this. I just been doing it for years, and I'm like, I think I could do this on my own, like when I'm done.
Hmm.
Um, and I've always done some private lessons. I've always had a couple clients I've just helped doing private lessons. Um, in the summers, when I'm in college still, just for a little bit of money and stuff. But then I'm like,
Yeah.
what if I really want to do this full time and bigger? Like I really think I can do it. And the
Hmm.
one day I got we got a synthetic. It was because of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's no hockey rinks open anywhere for a long time, and my dad got a full synthetic sheet, just threw it in the driveway for me and my brothers and some of my friends. And so I'd just
I
be on
remember
there
that
like all day, snapping it
all
around,
day,
buzzing
dude. You're on there
all
all
day.
day.
You're coming
Oh,
over. And then I think you started filming me doing some stuff one time.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I think you were the one that said, yeah, you should
Yeah, I
start a
did.
page or
I
something.
I
Start a
remember we were
page. And
talking about it. We were talking about
yeah,
it, and then like we
uh,
were out there like talking about it, and then we were like, all right, let's just
uh,
film a video right now. And so you
yeah,
filmed it, and then like later that day, you made the account, or like that week, you made the
yeah,
account and posted the video. I
yeah,
remember that. It was like a
yeah,
rebound. It was like a rebound thing.
yeah, yeah. Just working on my hands, extra craft, just working on my craft,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh, but yeah, that was it. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? There's no better time. It's COVID. What the hell else am I doing? Like, I
yeah.
think
Right.
I know I want to do this when I'm done playing. So why not just start it now? I'm just going
Yeah.
to build the base, build the foundation, plant seeds, keep planting seeds. And, hopefully it's going to grow to something big and it's going to be ready for me to be full time when I'm done
When
playing
you're done.
hockey. Hopefully that's
Yeah.
not for a long time, but it's definitely hard doing it right now, because I'm still playing, but I'm still, I'm planting the seeds and trying to
Yeah.
get it growing the best I can. I had one hockey camp this summer actually for the first time,
Yeah.
Prodero Hockey camp, and it went well. It was awesome. It was really good. Taught some great nifty skills out there.
I saw
It
some
was
videos that
awesome.
look good.
Yeah.
Did you ever have like fear of posting on social media of your hockey stuff? Did it take you
It
a sec to
was
get over that at the
it was a
beginning?
little bit more, yeah, it was a little bit more at the start, but once I did, it was just like, fuck it, I don't care. I don't care who sees, who doesn't, who gives a shit, who
Right.
doesn't. I don't care. What
Yeah.
what is something some guy that's looking through a phone screen, what he thinks? What does that matter to me? You know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
you understand the
Exactly.
same thing, posting all the TikToks and stuff. But the real
Yeah.
backstory to that too, the real backstory to Prodero, this honestly started in college. So
Hmm. Yeah.
again,
Right. Right.
it started with me when I came back my sophomore year. So yeah, you were right. It did start before that. My
Yeah. I thought
sophomore
so.
year, um, I wasn't. I like I said, I wasn't playing. It was I played the first 7 games. I was scratched every game, and I'm like, I need to freaking get in the lineup. I gotta start putting extra work in. Like I said, that one summer, I put a ton of emphasis on my off ice training. Was just trying to be the best guy in
Yeah.
shape, be the fastest guy out there. Um, and then that sophomore year, I started putting more emphasis on just staying after practice, going on before.
Yeah.
Like I remember that year I was going on the ice every day before practice, like 40 minutes. And guys would get
Hmm.
pissed. No, Doge, you're gonna screw the ice up. You're gonna hack it up sometimes, but sometimes,
Yeah.
but honestly, I started going by myself. And then before I knew it, like I would just go out there and just make my own drills up and just get some extra work and extra touches here and there. And I really found
Yeah.
that those extra touches were really, really helping in the games, 100%.
Hmm.
And then by the time I knew it, a few guys joined me, and then he knew half the team was out there with me, and I'd be running the boys through skill drills before practice, and then it got to the point where Langer was like, "Let's take these guys out, run them through this stuff here," and it's almost
Oh,
like Langer
really?
was
So
using me. Yeah, he was using
yeah.
me kind of like another coach on the team at a lot of times. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
at one
Wow.
point it just became this. That was just like the standard. We were getting our work in every single day. We'd be doing Prodero stuff every day. Uh,
Yeah.
the name, how that came about. We always said, I remember I would always say pro. I'm like, oh, that's like, if something was cool or sick, I'll be like, oh, that's pro. That's sick. That's pro.
Yeah.
And then one of my
Yeah, yeah.
Swedish buddies, I think it was Hugo Reinhardt. He's like, oh, Prodero. And then like he just said it out of nowhere. And then, yeah, that's kind of, oh, you know what? Like, I like that. So let's stick with
It's
that. So then the
actually a
boys just
sick name.
call me
Prodero.
Prodero. Yeah. Thanks.
That's
But,
unreal.
yeah, that's how it started, was me just trying to, that's how the name became, and like how I kind of I got that passion for skill development and,
Yeah.
and coaching. Is me
Now
making me my first client. I was my
yeah.
first client, really, you
Yeah,
know,
right, right.
I'm
Yeah.
doing this, you know,
So
and
where do you come up with like your drills, or like what's your philosophy on we'll get more into it as we go like down the podcast,
yeah,
but like
for sure.
where's like your philosophy, or where do you come up with your drills from?
A lot of it, I just watch hockey games, like NHL games, and I'd look for little areas. And I'm big on like touches and being, you need to have great puck control and be good with your touches and be crisp, because you go up to the higher levels. That's another thing you see from junior to college, and you go from college
Yeah.
to pro. These guys are snap. These guys snap the puck.
Right,
They can
right.
handle passes. They can underhandle it. They can two touch everywhere. You can just see the
Yeah.
difference. Like, these guys are really crisp. So a lot of that, um, I call it nifty touches. Lots of nifty touches. So like, that's just one big area of the game I train a lot, is your puck touch. Are you crisp with
Yep.
it? Where you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But then I go way deeper into it, and I would just watch, and I go over to one of the guys' house after practice, and we just watch NHL games and just look for little things. I'm like, yeah, that we need to work on that right there. I'm like, oh, there's something that we already work on. You know what I mean? And then I could
Yeah, yeah.
start getting a lot of clips of stuff that you need to work on, stuff that they're
Mhm.
already doing that's really good, and even some stuff where, okay, this, even at the NHL level, everyone makes mistakes. You know what I mean? Okay, we could have
Right.
used this skill in that moment. And
Yep.
honestly, just a lot of in-depth work and a lot of studying the game, and um trial and error with myself, seeing things that work for myself, seeing things that don't, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So then I could kind of
Yeah,
put
yeah.
that on other players too. So, I mean, when
Mhm.
you look at it in a way, I'm kind of like the first client.
Yeah, you are
But
for
I'll say
sure.
this. I'll say this. Ever since I started Prodero, my game has gone way up.
Oh, I bet.
Like,
I bet.
I'm a
Yeah.
I'm a completely different player than, like I said, like my sophomore year. I started
Mhm.
doing all the drills, but then when you came over that one day and I made the brand,
Yeah.
that's when I really took a big step. And I was like, okay, now I'm
Right.
actually Prodero. Like, let's do it
Right, you're
for
living
real
it. Like,
now.
you're living it.
You know?
Yeah, you're living it. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's do it. And it's like, I just took such an emphasis on my skill development. Like, that's half of it, is really putting the emphasis and putting the work in, you know?
But
And
but I
then
would have to say it's, like, intentional work at the same time, right? You're not just going out there.
exactly.
We talked about it the other day, but going and just
Yeah,
doing yeah, just stick handling to stick handle and whatnot.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So some of the philosophy that I use, like game skills to game transfer, like that's kind of like what we found, like the foundation of Prodero, I guess, is
Right. Yeah.
um game situational training. That's kind of our, the foundation, and that's what we like to do a lot of. Not to say there's some things that we're doing you're not going to see it in a game situation, and people see that, a bunch of idiots on Instagram, you'll never do this, we're
Yeah, yeah,
doing
right, right,
this
right.
to develop this in hopes that you can do that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
we talked about it too, just instead of going to stick handle around a couple cones here or there, go shoot. Okay, if I'm practicing my hands, I might do sets and reps with intentional. I'm working on one skill with sets and reps.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
but definitely,
So,
definitely, exactly. Game situational is a
do you
big
think,
foundation.
do you think also, like, you working with other players has helped your game out? as well? Because now like it's like you're seeing it from a different lens.
100%. Like the more I coach, I think the more it helps me. It develops my
Hmm.
IQ, and exactly, you see it from a different lens. I can see things maybe I don't see when I'm doing something. You know,
Right. Yeah.
100%. Like I
Yeah.
said, since I started the brand and really developed and really have put my passion and everything into it, my game itself has just gone way up.
Yeah. I bet that's
Um,
unreal. I mean, I've seen the progression from the start of it when you were
yeah,
just fucking around on the
yeah,
synthetic ice, and so
yeah,
now
exactly,
you're running camps.
exactly,
So I mean,
exactly.
it's pretty cool to see.
Like I'm at right
No,
now where I'm at. I'm at a level of play like I didn't think was even possible for myself. Like my
yeah,
sophomore year of college, you know what I mean? Like I'm there getting
mhm,
scratched in college,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
like that's just honestly a lesson. Like you got to stick with it and believe in yourself. You need to believe in yourself, because that was one thing I
yeah.
remember too. That was one big key, is like I know I can do it. I know,
Hmm.
and you stick
Do
with
you
it. And
do you think also it's been like a big part of like your progression since starting Prodero, but like in general is like who you surround yourself with out on the ice, like in the summers and stuff like that,
for
like
sure,
skating with
I
players who are better than
always
you and
try,
stuff.
exactly. I always try and keep myself with high end players myself
Yeah.
when I'm training. Like it's okay if
Hmm.
I'm doing like an individual skill session or something. It's maybe it's not the highest guys out, but like overall, I do like to surround myself with good players, and we have a good
Yeah.
pro group. Our Prodero pro group
Yeah.
is solid that we have in the summer. Some good pros
Oh,
out there.
dude.
But yeah, exactly. Got it. You have to surround yourself. Hang
Hmm.
out with 4 millionaires, you'll be the next one, right?
Right.
You
Right.
see stuff like that all the time. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
Exactly.
surround yourself with good people. Hang out with four
Right.
idiots, you'll be the next one. Or you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You might be leading the pack. We don't know.
Yeah.
All right, I got a
Exactly.
question for you. All right, this is the last
Uh-huh.
question I got for you for the day, and then
Hmm.
we'll wrap it up here. All right. So,
Hmm.
if you had to pick, oh, let me start this over. If you had to create a lineup for 3v3 overtime, three players and one goalie all time, who are you picking?
Throw that on me right here.
Yeah.
Obviously McDavid.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to
Yeah.
say not to say McDavid, McKinnon. Okay,
Yeah.
need one more
Uh-huh.
guy in there.
Yeah.
McDavid, McKinnon, McCarr, and then probably
You're all
Vasilevsky.
Are you going with current NHL players or just all time?
Yeah, yeah, all time.
All time, you're going with all new
All
guys.
time, guaranteed. The game, it's not even
I
close. Like
know.
obviously, those were great players, like Lemieux and Gretzky. Obviously, unbelievable players for the generation, but just where the game is at,
I
the
know.
skill level, it's unbelievable. It's insane.
I know. It's crazy
That'd
to
be
like discredit those guys. Like you feel like you're discrediting them, but like the skill now is just like out of this world.
it's it's
It's
insane. It's
crazy.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably. I mean, it's kind of hard not to. I'd say those three guys probably. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No
You
D.
know.
Oh, you went with the D. Sorry,
Yeah,
you went with
McCarr.
McCarr. Never mind. Yeah.
McCarr,
All
man.
right. It's barely a D. No.
Few
All right. Well,
bulls,
that
two bulls and a
yeah.
horse.
Yeah.
Couple bulls
Oh
and a
fuck. Yeah.
stallion.
Yeah. All right, well that was a good episode. I think we got you introduced onto the podcast. And I think moving forward we're going to be dissecting hockey, skill development, the mental side of it, different career paths that you can take to
Yep.
get to, certain levels and stuff like that. So that was an unreal episode learning about Prodero, Chris Dodero. Um, so I think that does it for, I don't even know what episode this is because it's been so long, but the No One Told Me Hockey podcast. All right. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Sounds good, Jack. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to get this thing going with you.
All right. Yeah, me too, dude. I'm fired up. Let's do it.